Hmm. What's up, people? I made so many videos. I was just I was just literally just on my YouTube and I was looking at videos that are like private still and like, oh my gosh, I got made so many videos and I got like way more on hard drives. Talk about so many things. Like sometimes I don't even know if there's like a point of me like making a video like this right now. I probably already talked about it, probably already made a video explaining the same things, but either way, um, today I watched a an interview with Tom DeLonge from Blink 182, and it was on Fade to Black Radio with Jimmy Church. It was from 2016. I watched part of it a while back, but I don't think I watched the whole thing. And I watched it part of it last night, and then the rest of it today. And he's talking about aliens. He's doing the alien thing, and he's talking about how he's in touch with all these government people. Like he one way or another got in touch with a lot of these people, and I don't know what the whole deal is with that. I really don't. I don't know. I don't know. He seems like he's sincere. I'm just being honest, but at the same time, I don't know. But he kept going on and on about how aliens, specifically one type of alien species or whatever, is like a negative species. Um, and he goes on and on and on about it, and he keeps saying it has to do with energy, consciousness. Um, Basically like your energy, you know what I mean? And I'm like fully competent, or at least fairly competent, in regards to that. That's the thing about me. Like, really, that's probably. I'm just gonna be honest. That's probably like the biggest secret about me that I think a lot of people don't know. It's just how competent I am with that, and like how much I've used that in life to affect things. Like people I have no idea. A lot of stuff he was saying, he was talking about these aliens or whatnot, and he was saying the government they call them the bugs because he says they just like come around and like fuck around with people and maybe like instigate shit. He had like a whole theory talking about like for ages, these aliens have come through and like turned people against each other, stuff like that. That kind of sounds like the narrative of like, you know, kind of what Ronald Reagan said. You know, uh, he wishes that an alien threat would come, so we could all be like united against it. It's like it seems like they're trying to use it in that way. It seems like Tom might be going along with that narrative, and that could be it. A lot of people have talked about a false alien invasion, in regards to like globalism, and using that threat, you know, real or not, as a unifying thing. I don't know. It seems like it's going along with that narrative, but I mean, okay, let's just say it really is going down, and everything he's saying is legit. Like I said, he sounds sincere. I mean, let's just assume that, I guess. Um, he's talking about consciousness and how they're like, he says maybe like they don't have the same type of hardware we do or something like that, and they try to, I don't know, use us or something. He says maybe they feed off like negative energy. I don't know. Look, I'm gonna be real. This is a true story. I don't know who wants to know this or what. Nobody's probably gonna believe me. It's fine. I don't care. The ones that matter, I guess, anybody can make their own opinion about it. But I had a weird experience where it was not long after one of my good friends committed suicide. It was the first friend, like good friend of mine that died. The first good friend that committed suicide. I actually had two friends that committed suicide, and two good friends that committed suicide. No offense, but there's other people that I've known that also have committed suicide, which is that's not a good track record. But yeah, I had two good friends that committed suicide. The first one, this was right after he did that, and um, and it was a weird experience in my life. But I think like personally, I was just like not wanting to like let go of him, So I kind of was like hoping like he still like existed in a spiritual form of some sort. So I kind of maybe was like looking for that, and like that kind of leads to what you might call like a spiritual awareness, um, kind of maybe like a third eye opening type thing. And it wasn't long after that, like I said, that well, first I started learning about kind of like energy and like psychic stuff, you might call it. But probably like less than like 6 months after I started like really like paying attention to it, and like I became aware that like energy was like a thing that you could like project and affect things with. But I had this just kind of like an epiphany type thing. It was really what it appeared, and it was weird. I was like kind of like dozing off, and I kind of had like this line of like personal thinking, like my own like inner narrative or whatnot. And then like while that was happening, like right in the middle of it was just like interrupted by like an obvious like it's like a message. It was just like it wasn't part of my own thinking, and it just came in, and it was like it was basically telling me try that stuff, like kind of like energy projection. Try it with something that was further than my immediate surroundings. And I was just at first I was just like shaken by it. I was like, did that really just what the heck was that? Like that was weird. Like where did that thought come from? And it was just so abrupt. In the line of my thinking, it was just so out of nowhere. Like unless it was like my deep subconscious, but I don't feel like it was. I feel like it was like legit, like boom, like implanted in my mind. I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, what the heck, man? You sounded crazy," but yeah, it did that, and that's what it told me. It said, "Try that," and it didn't even like say it. It wasn't like words. It was just like an instantaneous idea. It said, "Try that type of energy projection, just you know, uh, at a longer distance." And at the same time, there was like a visual, and the visual was of what I guess in my mind looked like a gray alien, like what people typically describe as a gray alien. And at first, the whole thing, I was just like, what the heck was that? And then I was like, what the freak? What did it tell me to do? And then, I kind of like considered what it was saying, like try that energy projection, like at a distance. I'm like, how can I even do that? Like, how is that even possible? I started considering it, and sure enough, you know, I guess I tried it, and I kind of, not even gonna tell you how it worked, but I saw feedback that was enough for me to say, okay, there's something to this. And I started exploring that. See, if that door wasn't open for me, I think I would have been stuck thinking that the energy projection could only like affect things in my immediate surroundings, or I might have even been like illusion to think that maybe it was like subtle behavior that people were seeing or something that they were reacting to. But no, when that door was open for me, um, I could see, yeah, people could be affected. People could be affected. Other things could be affected. Um, at a distance, and they would have no idea where it even came from. And it's not something like you and their immediate vicinity, like they're seeing, responding to. It's like, no, it's the actual energy itself. Energy is a thing, and that's pretty much what Tom was talking about. That he kept saying that like all these high level generals, um, that he's in touch with, that's like he says they're like scientists and whatever, decorated generals or whatever. Like that's what they were talking about. They wanted to talk about consciousness and stuff like that. And then they want to talk about the quantum field, and they even saying that the UFOs work in that way. A lot of the UFOs work in that way or something like that. So yeah, like there's something to that. What I mean? This goes like, I mean, there's 1,000 ways to talk about it. Like, you go all the way throughout history. There's been like esoteric teachings all the way ancient Egypt, third eye opening. I was unaware of that when I first learned about this stuff. When I first learned about this stuff, I thought I was like Neo from the Matrix, like hacking in reality. I'm like, holy crap, because I didn't know anything about it before. Nobody ever heard nobody talking about it before. Now I'm like, okay, I get it. Like I understand this field. I understand how to manipulate and play with it. There's been a lot of people throughout history who have talked about that. For a while, it was kept secret because there was like certain religion, like okay, well, I guess Christianity's one, like the Vatican or Catholicism. They would persecute people that like would even talk about stuff like that. They call it like witchcraft and stuff. But so a lot of it was hidden, and there's even like alchemy, which is like kind of an art, but it kind of was talking about personal transformation as much as it was, looking like it was talking about turning base metals into gold. It was really talking about personal transformation and a lot of like hidden esoteric stuff, like hidden within symbology and stuff like that. There's a lot to it all throughout history. It's been like people have had this knowledge. It's been kind of kept secret. And then there's the movie The Secret, which talks about the law of attraction that came out, I don't know, a couple years ago or whatnot. But it's been around. Knowledge has been around for a long time, and I just kind of stumbled upon it. And then that message came through that really opened that door for me. And then it was probably like a year and a half after that, I started like coming across all these like teachings, and I was like, oh, like other people understand this stuff. I was like, okay, that's cool. Um, but yeah, there's something to it. I mean, that's what Tom was saying, that all these higher up generals were talking about and stuff. And I mean, that's a real. I know how this goes, man. Like I've been doing this for a while. He was talking about a dude that could like bend a spoon. He told like a story about this dude that told somebody else to hold a spoon behind his back, and then he apparently like could be bent it with his mind. I can't do that. I mean, maybe I can do that, but like I haven't like done it. I haven't like I don't know. Haven't reached that level. I'm not that strong with the force. Even the force off of Star Wars, it's based off of like real teachings. George Lucas had like a consultant. I forget his name, but like he was like a dude who was familiar with like a lot of like teachings from around the world, and George Lucas consulted with him to make Star Wars more relevant to a wider audience, by kind of touching on their kind of religion, mythology, whatever. So yeah, the Force is also the same kind of concept. I mean, it's a real thing. There's a field, and one of my favorite people is Walter Russell. He like this dude got struck by lightning. He was friends with Nikola Tesla. He got struck by lightning, and like before that, he was an artist. He's a really badass artist, like realism, like very good, and a sculptor, and he got struck by lightning, and then like I guess something snapped in him, and he just like, oh shit, I see how the freaking everything works. And sure, he went hard. And his wife called up like a doctor thinking he was going crazy, and the doctor was like, no, I think he's just he's in the zone, woman. Like she didn't know what to make of it. But he ended up writing books. He has like a whole like 12-step like teaching course and stuff, and his wife eventually understood. And I don't know, but Walter Russell's a badass, and he was kind of talking about a lot of stuff like that. He even had his own like periodic table of elements, and it's like a little spiral, and he says a lot of the elements like gold and stuff, those are actually like ions. Like I don't know if he called it ions, but something like that. They're not like fundamental base level elements. What is it called? It's not an ion. Maybe it's ion. It just has like more protons or electrons than it should or whatever. I don't know. Walter Russell's a badass. Go look his ass up if you haven't. But yeah, so Tom was talking about this energy stuff, and I'm pretty privy to all that. I'm just being real. Like, I've been doing this since I think it was like 2009 or like 2010, and this shit isn't anything to me. This is like second nature. Like, it really is at this point. It's like I've like calibrated my own. It's almost like an extent. Like I just understand that as part of me, and I understand that what I do with it has an effect. Just like I understand what I touch with my physical body has an effect. My energy body has an effect, and I know how to affect things, and I've been affecting things, and I've learned over time how to use it. Just like you learn to use your physical body, when you learn about your energy body, you learn, and you become I don't know, a competent person with your energy and using it to affect things. It's not a hard concept. It's very simple actually, and it took some time to really understand it, to learn it, especially when people would like, I mean, like, I guess in a world where people are like thinking that doesn't even exist, you try to talk about it or anything, people are like thinking you're crazy. Number two, if they like, you might be in a zone, like, doing some type of like energy work, you might say, and people might just be like, what are you doing? Like, like they have no idea. They're blind, spiritually blind. Third eye blind, good band. Even like that right there, they're talking about the same thing. But yeah, it has to do with like, energy and what I like to call like the etherical realm. Oh my gosh. This person just like stared at me like way too hard while driving by. Like, dude, mind your business. That was annoying. So yeah, I understand that. I understand it pretty. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. I think I probably understand it more than like most people. Even like probably some of the generals and stuff like Tom was talking to. I don't know. Like they might like literally be like doing scientific experiments with it. Here's another thing. Nikola Tesla, he was doing uh kind of experiments or whatever with what he called cosmic rays or the cosmic energy, and basically he was talking about the same stuff. It's like not quite like electricity, more or less like there's like accounts of him like filling up a room with like a white glow, iridescent glow. It's like I think he was like working with similar type of energy, and he has a similar theory to what Tom said. He said there's like a god that is like the source field or whatever, and like everybody's like kind of receiving energy from it, like almost like on like an encrypted radio wave or whatnot with our DNA and stuff. And then Nikola Tesla said that the same thing. He had like a quote saying all of his inspiration, whatever, comes from some universal center of sorts, and he was doing all these experiments. I remember I read a book. It was actually the first chapter of a book called like Secrets of like Cold War Technology or something like that. But it was all about Nikola Tesla because the author was saying like without understanding what he was doing, you can't really understand the progress that was made after. But it kind of explained how he wasn't just working with like regular electricity. He was working with like kind of like what some people might call like cold electricity. I don't know if that's the same thing, but certain type of energy, which might be like the same type of like energy, that and then he Nikola Tesla even said he like charged himself with this energy, and so it might be the same type, that I guess that we're talking about here with the quantum field or whatnot, and or whatever type of energy it is that affects the quantum field, like whatever. Tom had there was a quote where the Jimmy Church, he was talking about he had a sighting when he was out in the desert or something like that, and then Tom like he just offered up a quote, and he was talking about, it was just like he was talking about something about some type of technology that was like nano. I don't know exactly how he put it, but it was subatomic structured like material that like could interact with like the vacuum fluctuations of in the quantum field or whatever, saying it was like powered by that or something like that, like so the atomic arrangement I guess would be like somehow have like an energy gradient in relation to the quantum field or whatnot. I don't know, something like that. Basically, I don't know. He just offered a quote saying like that I don't even know who it was from. He just said it was an official quote, but so we're talking about technology right there that might be working with a similar type of energy, and I mean that's what we are. We're biological beings, but we're physical, and I mean it's a physical universe. I mean energy is a thing. It's a force that affects matter. If you understand chemistry with polarization and stuff like that, that's why water is so important, and proteins fold the way they do. It's like it's all these like energy gradients that like pull magnetically, the material one way or another. I mean, so as much as we're talking about energy here, it's like it's still physical, it's still mechanical, and so are we. We're mechanical. We're technology, basically. Our bodies are. I mean, it's all the same thing. So it's not like it's unrealistic to think that that technology could be made. With the same principles, you know what I'm saying? It's like I think it's very likely. So it is what it is. Anyway, I don't know how long I got on this video. I knew I only had so long to record this video because I'm low on space on my phone, and I know it sounds stupid, but it is what it is at this moment. So anyway, I don't know. I just want to talk about that a little bit. But with all that being said, yeah, dude, I understand like this energy stuff. Like I'm low key, like I'm like a little wizard, motherfucker. Like I like to be stupid about it because it kind of like I don't know, but low key, yeah, I know how to. I've been doing stuff, bro. Like I don't even want to really tell y'all the truth about it all. Like I've affected a lot of things in a lot of ways, and really, I was like, never mind. I don't feel like getting into it. I got nothing else to say. I've been doing it for a while though. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Telepathic stuff, that's not even like that's like nothing to me. It's like there's levels beyond that, dude. Like well beyond that. There's like you can affect the whole like mood of literally so I don't want to get into it. You can affect a lot of things though, believe me. Which I see it as like you can affect the energy, which then translates into physical behavior, you know? Um, yeah, there's a lot too. I really don't feel like getting into it, but it is what it is. I'm pretty privy with that, so I guess I just want to talk about it a little bit. I ain't got nothing else to say. I know this video is going to cut off in a couple minutes, seconds, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I'll talk to you later. Peace.